everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for September 8th, 2011.
Kicking it off and off the press, Star Trek. It's getting old.
45 years.
It's about to have a midlife crisis.
I think it's probably already had several.
There's
There's been a lot of balding men involved.
But its really big midlife crisis is going to be like Captain Kirk Grandpa edition or something like that. And just be, he'll be wandering the universe with a walker.
That's a senior midlife. You usually buy a sports car or motorcycle. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, Star Trek's midlife crisis would be to bring back the old captain, and now he's old. So really,
I'm not
all they
seeing
can.
it.
All right,
forget that.
I just
That's okay.
would have been good.
Yeah. Then Tech Insight. We're talking about how Carol Bartz got fired over the phone. What's next for Yahoo?
And what Google keeps buying.
Yeah, because let's buy Motorola for $2 billion, but we're not quite. They got a list or something. Buy our company.
Yeah, we're out.
I'll sell it to you for $50.
That's pretty low.
$70?
We should talk about this later.
A share.
And in science this week, Sean is taking a look at cancer vaccines. We might actually be on the cusp of curing cancer.
Well, preventing.
Or preventing cancer.
Yes, vaccines are kind of, they don't stop.
I'm not good at sciences.
That's
why I don't do that segment.
It shows.
Yeah.
Then we go behind the lens, and we're talking about Adobe's new Carousel service, and how it can bring a little bit of Lightroom to the iPad, potentially.
Or something like that.
And what you're going to have to fork out to access it.
And without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
It's been like 45 years since the first episode of TOS.
Exactly 45 years, the day of recording.
Yeah.
So, IO9 today or yesterday posted a 45 years of Star Trek in one handy timeline.
Terrifying.
It's handy.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
As advertised. There's been lots of tweets. Nichelle
Yeah.
Nichols made a tweet, and Nimoy, and all that. Well, there's only like 4 active Twitters from Star Trek. But
Well, from the original Star Trek.
yes.
And then none of the...
I'm pretty sure Brent Spiner said nothing.
No. LeVar Burton posted something earlier today as well.
So,
yay.
pretty excited. It's been around for a long time, still kicking. There was a movie, not even like 2 years ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Hopefully we'll see some more of that.
I'm starting to miss Star Trek on TV.
Yeah, I watched Voyager today. It doesn't hold up.
It really doesn't.
No.
I watched Voyager yesterday at
Yeah,
work.
go watch any of the other series. More
TNG
entertaining.
holds up surprisingly well,
Except for the
actually.
first season.
The first season didn't hold up.
Picard has hair, kind of, and the
And
uniforms
Riker-
are leotards. And
Hey, Riker looks like a baby.
yeah, he does.
It's
The
like, oh,
beard's
he's
not
so
right.
cute.
And, yeah.
No.
But, great legacy, 45 years, still
Yep.
kicking. Speaking of...
Speaking of things just still kicking,
yes.
or at least they're trying to, Star Trek Online is going to become free to play.
Which is bad for people like me, because I
Yeah.
bought it when it came out,
So
played
did
the
I.
heck out of it
So
until my
did I.
trial expired,
Yeah.
and then paid to play
I also-
$16 a month
I also paid.
for like 8 months.
Oh wow.
And played a lot in those 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of got to the point where, I had to go back to school.
Priorities. That's fair.
And it was $16 a month, so I
Yeah.
stopped playing. It's free now.
Or will be
Or
pretty
soon.
soon.
That's bad news.
Bad news, but great news for the free people because the free features are actually
It sounds promising.
really good.
Yeah.
Basically, the only thing you're missing is you have about half the amount of bank space as the paid players. You can't do the create your own quest. You lack some in-game chat and forums and customer service, and you don't get priority login.
See, now that might be a problem.
It could be, yeah.
Because when this game launched, and at least 2 or 3 months into the release
Yeah,
of the
it
game,
was terrible.
like you'd click to log in and go make a sandwich, and then have a nap, and then write a symphony, and then come back, and you could actually start playing
Mm-hmm. It's
Star
true.
Trek. So if it's that bad, like if it was a couple minutes, I could deal with it. But anything past that,
The first month or so after the free launches is probably going to be bad, but then it'll
it'll
even
weed itself out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, this is one of the better freemium offers we've seen.
One of the best, actually.
Yeah. Because even as someone who played quite a bit, I don't really think I would pay up for much.
No.
Maybe the bank slots.
Maybe.
You're going to big run through, Klingon territory or something. You're going to want
Go on
that.
a really long quest chain.
Or you could just prioritize what you're keeping. Because a lot of the stuff in there's crap.
But I want to sell everything. I need gold.
It's not gold.
Whatever.
There's like 5 different currencies.
Damn it.
Gold plus platinum.
I need more of that.
Yeah, so... Star Trek Online free to play. I will not be on the show for 8 weeks once it comes out.
I'll
something
probably
like that.
pick it up again. I have to reinstall it. That's not going to be fun.
I just got a patch, so I'm good to go.
Screw you.
If you want a little more realistic kind of space experience,
Sort of, maybe. So NASA has week before last, they started a Kickstarter fund to create a game called Astronaut: Moon, Mars, and Beyond.
Not a bad title, kind of intriguing.
It's a really good title, which is basically an educational space-based MMO set in the year 2035.
Okay, so it's like technology that's potentially realizable by 2035.
Yeah.
So it'll still take me 10 months to get to Mars.
Something like that, yeah.
So I got to grind 10 months of like eating astronaut tube paste in order to actually go on some quest on Mars.
Your quest: talk to the diplomats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your quest: encode the burst back to Earth.
please, 5 senators.
Did you drink 8 glasses of water today? The guy.
Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more entertaining than that. I'm kind of looking forward to the educational aspect of it. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a game that's actually fun for kids to play.
Well, NASA presents information really well. I mean, their website's easily the best government website.
Their website is nice. Their Android app is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, NASA TV, although a little bit drawn out, is actually pretty informative.
Yeah.
And some of them bits are interesting. So if they kind of crushed that all down, hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
made
see.
it kind of entertaining. So NASA themselves aren't actually making this game, thank God. They've farmed it out to another company who will be making this game.
Hopefully a company that actually makes games. That would be preferable.
Hopefully a decent company. Or it could be some indie developer we've never heard of.
Still better than NASA doing it themselves.
Yep.
though.
So as of last week, the Kickstarter has gone over by $5,000. So it will be coming out at the end of next year.
Oh, big wait.
They wait.
But you should get used to that if you're going to play NASA.
Ah, clever. And speaking of things that are in the future,
Kinda.
haha, Nike has earlier, I think it was either yesterday or this morning, Nike posted a teaser video of a warehouse full of the shoes worn by Marty in Back to the Future 2.
Yes.
The self-lacing.
The self-lacing,
ones.
really cool futuristic Nike almost boots.
Yep.
Yes.
So
You know them.
I was almost going to lift my ban of buying Nike for these, but Nike has announced that they're only going to be making 1,500 of these.
Yes. The Air Mags, as they're called, look awesome.
They look
Okay.
really cool.
They
I
look
would wear these.
They look exactly like the ones in the movie. However, to be noted, you still kind of have to lace them yourself.
They're not quite self-lacing.
But I think we should give them a pass because it's a limited run.
Yep.
They're going to be selling on eBay.
Yep.
So I have like a couple, 150 pairs a day for 10 days.
Yep.
To lose out the run, and it's all going to
The Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Yeah. So
Which is good.
you really can't hate on a company for doing something.
No,
for
you
charity.
really can't. Like, these shoes are awesome.
Especially something that's cool for charity.
But, as major spoilers pointed out, have hope. This movie was set in 2015.
It's a good point. We're really getting close to that. I can feel the hoverboard coming out.
Come on, Hasbro. Where's my hoverboard?
Yeah, and I'm sick of buying tires.
Or is it
so
Mattel? I don't remember Hasbro or Mattel.
I believe it was Mattel.
One of you guys. Where's my hoverboard? I don't want a pink one, though. I'd be okay with green.
I'd
not
take a pink one if it's the only one there. I'd take it.
I'd take it. I'd probably end up painting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't paint the hoverboards.
No. And in the new releases this week,
Contagion coming out in the theaters.
Steven Spielberg is behind this in some way, shape, or form.
Looks decent.
Looks interesting. Kind of like your virus outbreak movie.
Yeah, except we haven't had one in a while. I think the last good one was Dustin Hoffman, like in the 90s.
28
Outbreak,
days later, technically.
Outbreak. Yeah, but
Technically.
this doesn't look as zombie-ish.
No, it's not zombie-ish.
Kind of more like, actual humans getting sick and dying kind of thing. So it looks pretty good. There's a decent, a lot of big faces in there.
Yep.
So.
And on DVD and Blu-ray this week, we have Hannah.
Ooh, it's exciting. Pick that one up.
Apparently it's
X-Men First Class, which is good.
Very good.
So if you
That
want to
one's
check
got
out,
a Friday release date, but if you're watching this, it's not a big deal because it would have been released already.
it's already out. And games to start off, we got Dead Island for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC, which we were playing
It's
just 10
pretty
minutes
cool.
ago. Pretty good. Your
Yep.
zombie kind of shooter game.
You've got Resistance 3 on the PS3.
Yet another Warhammer 40k game, Space Marine for PS3, 360, and PC.
Orcs rule!
Apparently, Orcs
Yeah.
rule. No.
Apparently, the single-player campaign is actually really good in this. I had a couple of people I follow on Twitter were tweeting about it all of today and yesterday. We have Driver San Francisco for the PS3, 360, Wii, and 3DS.
Looks pretty good.
It does.
There's been a while since the Driver franchise had anything decent, since like Driver 1. So hopefully we'll check that out.
Yep.
And Star Fox 64 3D, is that what I think it is? Is that just Star Fox 64 in 3D on the 3DS?
Yep.
That's awesome. Pick that up immediately.
Maybe. And speaking of 3DS, the Flame Red 3DS comes out this week.
Very nice.
It's
a
really
good,
pretty.
Good alternative. It looks really good and still has the 3D.
And it's red.
Flame red.
Awesome.
And that wraps up the segment for this week.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tech Insight for this week.
Top of the docket this week, the CEO of Yahoo got canned rather abruptly. Carol Bartz got a phone call, apparently, from Yahoo's board of directors, and that was that. So she apparently didn't react very well to this.
I wouldn't either.
In the form of a hasty email sent from her iPad to every Yahoo employee. To all, I'm very sad to tell you that I've just been fired over the phone by Yahoo's chairman of the board. It's been my pleasure to work with all of you, and I wish you only the best going forward. Carol, sent from my iPad.
I don't think she's completely in the wrong here.
Well, I think getting fired over the phone as a CEO of a company that just had $1 billion profit year over year,
No.
that's a good profit. So I think that's...
There's a certain tact and
There's-
etiquette to
there's
firing
that.
somebody, and
But-
that was not there.
At the same time, you got to look at the fact that when she got fired, their shares went up. So she was clearly not an extraordinarily favored person, per se, by Wall Street. Yahoo's moving on. They really need to focus themselves as a company. Are they doing search? Are they doing advertising? Are they doing games? Are they doing media? They don't really know.
No, they've been all over the place for the last few years.
Well, yeah, and Carol Bartz has not mismanaged the company, but she hasn't directionalized it.
That's true.
Which is what Yahoo needs, which is why I think they're moving on. But I think why this is in the news so much is because while that's abrupt and she exploded at it, I think she's probably pretty upset because I don't think, a phone call kind of like that's kind of expected. If there's a transition, usually there's a press release.
Yeah.
So kind of a little bad form by everyone at Yahoo here.
Yeah, there's no one in the right on this one.
No.
However, Carol, look on the bright side. You get a severance, which I'm sure is going to be quite good.
I'm sure you're quite well off and you can go retire and be happy.
Yes.
Moving on, Google went down on their shopping list today and decided to
boy.
purchase Zagat.
So, Zagat, if my understanding is correct, is basically a community crowdsourced rating system.
More or less, there's like a magazine, like a guide kind of thing, and they rate like the best, restaurants and shops and things
So
like
that's
that.
not so bad.
I think really cool purchase for Google, and I think Yelp's done.
I never used Yelp.
Yelp's pretty cool unless you live in Canada,
Yeah.
because then there's not enough people using it. Maybe if you live in Toronto, Montreal, but in Ottawa, it's not very popular.
We get shafted again.
Well, it's our own fault, really.
Yeah.
But with that kind of system, with a rating review system of places built in with Google Maps and Google Search, I'm surprised they haven't
Done this
developed
earlier.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's you know what though, but that's kind of like Google. They kind of at times they develop something really really cool. Other times it's just easier for them to buy somebody and just acquire.
Well, especially since it's better to acquire a company who has built the technology than to rip that company off
Yes.
and then squash them out of the market.
Yeah.
Much better move business-wise and really just in general.
Well, I'm actually kind of interested to see how this works out because especially once it gets integrated with Google Maps, that's going to make finding restaurants.
Maps plus
Perfect.
local search plus integrate, because Zagat's already got a name, it's already got a lot of users and things like that, a good reputation.
Yep.
So I think it's a good purchase.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially if they want to do integrate that even further with their Google coupons or Google offers.
Yeah, Google offers or something like that.
Which hasn't really done very well.
It hasn't, but that's also because
None of those other ones are doing very well.
exactly.
Right?
It's just
Groupon
what
was
do you do?
overvalued and now is coming down. They're cool services, but they're not as explosive as we thought.
They're not diverse.
Well, no, and that's one of the problems. You kind of got to search like 6 of them to be able to get.
I don't need yoga.
But somebody does. There was a good Groupon for like 3 oil changes for the price of 1.
Ah, well, I can
You
use that.
just got to catch them, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
Zagat integrated with Google Offers, integrated with Maps and Search. I think that just makes a lot of sense.
Just integrated with Google.
Yeah,
I think it's done. I think that's great.
Good purchase for Google.
Yeah.
Netflix news this week. So this happened to me, and I do this a lot, so I was kind of
Yeah.
confused. I think I've only really heard this from the Americans, but do Canadians really complain? Probably not.
Well, I will admit, I've had this happen.
So what the deal was is if you were, let's say, you're at my place, you're watching a movie in my living room, I go to my bedroom to use the same Netflix account, watch a second movie. People were getting errors on that second stream saying, there was an error accessing this, try shutting down all other streams.
Yeah.
Now, in the Netflix, this gets confusing because in the Netflix streaming terms of service, it depends on there's no specific dealings with that in the pure streaming plan. In the actual terms of service, so it doesn't say you can only have 3 simultaneous streams or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not spoken of. However, in the combined DVD plan for the states, it was you could only have as many streams as you had DVDs on your account. So if you could have 4 at a time, you could have 4 streams.
I see. So they're doing kind of an equal value thing at that point.
Yeah, which I guess made sense, but we're on unlimited streaming.
Yeah.
And I think some people were getting confused because, if I have 3 DVDs out, I should at least be able to use 2 streams. So people were kind of going, oh crap, is Netflix going to say 1 stream only? Mm-hmm. Which, to be honest, if Netflix is your primary viewing thing, my girlfriend and I don't have cable.
Yeah.
We rely off over-the-air, internet, Netflix, and downloads. So, if she's watching something in the living room and I want to go in the bedroom and watch something else, I'm paying Netflix so I can do that. If I had TV, I could do that with no extra charge. So people were getting concerned, are they going to make the change?
I don't think they will.
They didn't. So they did come out.
Okay, good.
They had a statement, I think about a day after this hit the internet.
Good.
Mainstream, so probably 2-3 days after it happened. They said you will at least have 2.
Okay.
You're guaranteed. They said you won't have less than 2 or something like that.
Which is fine.
So it means maybe more than 2 is too much to ask for the service, or they don't really want to advertise that they can do that.
If you think about it, though, the amount of bandwidth you're using up with doing 2 simultaneous streams
in one connection, I could see that being
you could
problematic.
really, really, really kill yourself in this, especially here in Canada where we get charged up the nose.
Yeah, well, and I can see it being complicated technical-wise to 6 streams going to 1 IP address kind of thing, depending on how they do it.
But I will admit, I have had issue where I wasn't able to do concurrent streams.
I have as well.
But you know what, though? I did call Netflix support, and if you ever have trouble, call them. They're really good.
Yeah,
They don't screw around.
Basically, they're saying it was kind of a bug.
Yeah.
This happened over the Labor Day weekend. They're not going to do it. You're guaranteed your 2 streams at a time, which is good because Netflix is making some questionable not making the decisions, but they've lost questionable content in the States. Us Canadians never get screwed because we never have anything to lose.
I was going to say, we don't get anything.
But the Starz library of movies is gone off Netflix as of February next year. They didn't re-sign, which is a lot of movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies.
So that's not really... Some people are peeved about that. So Netflix is a little down in the public opinion, so hopefully this will at least not push them any further.
I'm hoping they spring back, though, because I like their service.
They've been getting better and better in Canada, so I'm glad I've stuck with it. I use it every other day or something like that.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I haven't had any problems lately, so let's keep the lack of problems rolling.
So the next one, though, and this is one that I think we've all been waiting for, at least if you're very much in tech and computers like me and Scott are, or actually, you know what, if you're anybody who needs extra storage.
Lots of space.
4 terabytes from Seagate, finally out in an external.
1 drive.
Single drive, not 2, single drive. This is actually amazing.
Great technology. Now, nothing special about the drive. Let's be honest.
No, it's
they've just
4 terabytes.
They've worked their platters in some kind of voodoo magic way that they do to get more on the same size. Up to 4 terabytes on 1 drive. That's ridiculous.
There's not many people who can fill 4 terabytes. I've met 3, in fact.
I'm getting there.
And I've got 3 terabytes right now, and I'm not even close.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
So in this new line, they're saying it as an external first, which I think is probably a good way to go.
Yeah, this is how you weed out all the bugs.
Well, and you're going to make a pile of money more off selling them as externals, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's called the GoFlex Desk line. So it is the full-sized hard drive. It's not the smaller ones.
So it's bulky.
Those are only about a terabyte these days. So you've got the individual power supply, USB 2, USB 3. I believe there's an eSATA option.
They're looking to do. They're going to get into the light into Thunderbolt. I was about to call it Light Peak. Man, I'm behind the times. But they're going to get into the Thunderbolt stuff later on.
Yeah, not shipped. I think Q4.
Yeah,
next
Q4 they're
year.
looking at it because, let's face it, it's becoming very popular. And there's a lot of devices coming out. However, everyone's still looking, if you're in the PC world, everyone's
can't
looking at
have it,
USB 3 and they're going, please be good.
Yeah, so not a bad option. You're looking at $249.
And that is, before you probably sit there and you're probably putting your nose up going, $249. That is awesome. For 4 gigs. 4 terabytes, sorry. 4 terabytes. What is it, 90s? And this is actually really good because you're looking at about a 2 terabyte drive right now. It goes for
$100, $80.
about $80.
Yeah, so you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So if you want the PC version, that's USB 2, USB 3. It's available now. If you want the Apple version for Mac, which is USB 2 and FireWire 800, which is a nice option for Apple users,
Yeah.
that'll be shipping by hopefully the end of the month. They're not really sure yet.
Yeah. They're still working the bugs out on that one, I think.
Yeah, but good option if you want piles of storage in a nice, sleek, small container.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us to the end of Tech Insights for this week.
It's kind of alive. Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hi everyone, welcome to Mad Science again for the week. We're going to be barreling through. We only got 2
Yep.
stories, but they're medically based.
And not that mad, actually.
No, actually, the first one's kind of mad.
A little bit mad.
It has kind of a mad implication to it, and
Yep.
what you can use it for. Definitely applications. The second one, however, is pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
So the first one, let's get it started off. You ever wanted to try and get the truth out of somebody?
Sure.
And whenever you have that victim sitting in your super secret science base, you've tried using all the different serums and all that for
Yeah.
trying to get the truth out of them, and usually they end up dying or they're
Usually,
having some sort
you know
of
what?
euphoric thing.
You can just, go to your fridge. Magnets.
Ah.
See what I did there?
Yeah. So anyway, it looks like
Don't
oh,
stick
God.
them in the fridge, 'cause that won't make them talk any faster.
No.
No.
Well, actually.
No.
Anyway, so it looks like a bunch of Estonian researchers have
Yep.
come up with a new idea, and that is applying a magnetic field to the, oh boy, I'm going to screw this up, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex.
The area right behind your forehead. So
Yeah.
Right about here.
So, depending on what side they apply it to, the left or the right, will actually either make your lying skills better, well, not better, you'll lie more, or you're going to lie less.
Yep.
So if you're trying to get the truth out of someone, put it on the right side, and they're going to tell you the truth more than they will lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, they'll almost be impossible for them, depending on the intensity. However, should be mentioned, and Sam definitely likes to point this
Yep.
out.
This was a very, very, very small study of 16 people. How the study worked is that they showed them different colors, and the volunteers were told that they could lie or they could tell the truth.
So basically, what you're doing is, you know what? They could have just been like, "What color is this?" and seen what they did most, instead of saying you can do this or that, because then that kind of gets you to sit there and go, "What if I do lie?"
Well, what if I don't lie? Huh.
Yeah. So
I
it
bet
kinda-
everyone else is going to lie. I
Exactly.
won't lie.
So it kind of skews your results. I think
Yep.
it should become. It just could be completely impartial. Just what color is that?
So for 16 people, this is a very, very small
Very
study.
small, but you know what? It does raise some interesting questions. Because we've applied magnetic fields to the brain before, and it has interesting effects. For instance, if you put it on wherever your speech center is, because it happens to move around, we can basically stop you from speaking.
Yep.
But you could sing everything you wanted to say,
Exciting.
because it's a different area of your brain. But, so now we're seeing that we can actually do this to try and influence getting the truth out of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that means no more breaking hands, kneecaps, or, well, cold showers.
Yeah.
Oh well.
It's no fun,
No, but we're gonna. Anyway, gotta clean up the evisceration chamber someday.
I guess.
Anyway, and coming out of Cuba, though, land of beautiful cigars. Anyway,
You'll
they've
need
come up-
this if you have too many of those cigars.
Yeah, I was smoking my pipe and it was killing me this weekend.
Yep.
Anyway, the Cubans have actually come up with, their medical researchers have finally come up with a vaccine,
Sort of.
sort of, for cancer, lung cancer in particular. This vaccine is not preventative.
No.
It is not. It doesn't repair and reverse.
No.
It stops cancer. So if you have it, and it even in its advanced stages,
Yep. It doesn't make you better, but it stops it from getting worse.
yeah, which is good and bad because you're in basically a constant state of feeling like crap. However, that does give them more time to treat you.
Yep. And
So
try out different
treatments and
treatments.
everything. So there is potential for that to be quite useful. Not to mention, even if they catch it early on, boom, stop it right then, and then the treatment time's cut in half. Well, cut in however long it takes.
Yeah.
So the vaccine is called, Simavax-EGF. 25 years of research.
And it's so far it's been tested on about 1,000 patients throughout Cuba.
And that is not a bad sample size for the size of the island and for their population. It's not too bad, but the results are all promising. So what it does is it basically allows your immune system to attack a certain protein that is used for uncontrolled, or that cancer basically is mutated.
Yeah, it's basically to stop the proteins that cause the cancer to progress.
Yeah. So it stops the cell division that's going uncontrollably. So your tumor will no longer grow. It won't spread to the rest of the
You
system.
kinda stay there.
But yeah, it won't shrink. It won't disappear. You still have to do the treatments. But still, this is cool because it's now become manageable.
Yep.
If this gets out there, it's now manageable, which means that there's more time for treatments, more time for even developing the cure, or even a vaccine that will reverse the effects.
Yep.
So, not too mad.
Very cool. Though.
No robots again.
Not yet.
No, but I've got a few.
Maybe a tumor cleaning robot. That's next week.
Surgical robot. Those things are scary. But until then, that wraps up science for this week. Kind of short.
Welcome behind the lens for this week. Starting up, we're looking at a new service offered by Adobe, kind of photo editing and a cloud service kind of built in for iOS.
Yes, so they've created this service they're calling Carousel. And the idea behind it is that if you're a photographer these days, you probably have a computer, because that's sort of an important thing
Most
to doing
people do.
digital
Yeah,
photography.
yeah.
You probably have a smartphone, because most people do. And then you might have a tablet somewhere in there as well, although that's a smaller market. But the problem is, if you like to take a lot of photos, you might be taking them with your phone, or you might be taking them with your camera and then uploading them to your tablet or to your computer, and then you've uploaded it to your tablet, but you want it on your computer, or vice versa, and you gotta
It's messy.
yeah. It gets messy. So what Adobe has created is this Carousel service, which is at the core a cloud-based service. So you save your photos on whatever device is you're using, and it's going to push them up to the cloud, and then all your other devices are going to be able to access the same photos. And it's keeping it all in the cloud so that you're not actually taking up the space on your device itself. So the editing you're doing to a photo in the cloud.
That's, yeah. Good.
And what's cool is that you do your editing, and you go to your next computer, and that editing's already done for you. And you can revert back to original from any of the devices that you're using, which is pretty cool. Now the thing is that this is version 1, and they're kind of touting it as the Lightroom for iPad, but from what I've seen in the screenshots, it seems to be a little bit feature light in comparison to a couple of fairly good apps out there right now for the iPad for photo editing. So I'm not sure, they're talking about it's version 1, but I feel like that's kind of an excuse these days. Well, it could have been better, but we wanted to put something out on the market.
Yes and no. I think where they might, Adobe doesn't really have any good cloud services right now, right?
Yeah.
So this is there's kind of stepping out into the unknown.
For sure.
So I think if this is what they've done, I don't know, I don't work there, but if I were Adobe, I'd want the cloud aspect of it to be flawless.
And that's what they've said, is they really wanted to make sure that the browsing and sharing was as good as it could
because
be.
I think they can bring the photo editing features because we know they have it in things like Photoshop and Lightroom.
But my concern is if people aren't seeing it right off the bat, they might pass on wanting to spend the money on the service.
For sure, especially since it's a recurring payment.
Yeah, so Adobe has decided that you can either do monthly or yearly payments to buy into their cloud. Now, right now, if you sign up before the end of January of this coming year, you're paying $6 a month or $60 a year, which is kind of pricey. And if you pay after January, it's $10 a month or $100 a year, which is even more pricey.
But, when you first told me about the service, I said, yeah, that's too high. But if you think about it, that's Xbox Live kind of prices.
It is, but the
and
thing
realistically, this is providing you with a lot more service.
It's true, but
So-
it's going to be hard to justify that when we see iOS 5 come out, which is going to do photo syncing, not to the same extent, but is going to give you a degree of photo syncing among your devices.
Yeah, I think that'll attract the non-professional, especially since it's capped.
Well, here's what worries me about the Adobe situation right now. They haven't really told us what our limitations are.
It should be pretty darn high if I'm paying
So
$6
they
a
talk
month.
about being able. They talked about working with albums of 25,000 photos, but that could be a small album for some people. I know people that shoot upwards of 50,000 photos a year, and that's a year. And the other thing that they've talked about right now is that they're JPEGs. And if they're going after professional market, they really need to support RAW. But I can see where that starts to make the service fail because it's like, well, I've just taken 8 gigabytes of photos.
Well, no one has that kind of bandwidth.
Let's
right?
upload all this.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be because I feel like there's a couple of holes that, in order for it to really work, you'd want to have those holes filled.
And the worst part is some of them are out of Adobe's control.
It's
like
true.
we're nowhere near having connections fast enough. Even in the home, where uploading like a day of shooting in RAW is something that's feasible.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's limited right now to an unknown amount of photos and JPEG versions of it. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Yeah, I could see maybe in 2 or 3 years, maybe come back and see where this service is at.
So it's not officially launched yet, but it's supposed to be launching very soon on Mac computers, iPhone, and iPad, and they are talking about Android and Windows-based devices for early next year, I believe. So interesting stuff. I'm glad to see that Adobe's working on something like that, and we'll see what comes of it.
Well, once it comes to multi-platform, it'll be pretty unique.
For sure. I mean, that's something that for someone, an Android or a Windows user, they're not going to have the option of iCloud, so it could be a good option.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving on to something a little bit more silly.
Quite a bit more, really.
Leica likes to do weird things. I'm conveniently wearing a Leica shirt today. And they've decided to team up with a Tokyo-based designer called Kunio Okawara-sama. I butchered that. But he's known for designing the mechanical aspects of the Gundam animated series.
Which is quite popular.
It is.
Yeah.
So they decided that they were going to get together with him and have him do a special designed version of the v-lux 30, which is if you're buying a Panasonic, it's the TZ10, I believe. And so it's got this laser engraved etched design on the front, which really looks stupid.
The worst part is it's not very big.
No,
If I'm paying up for a special design camera, I want the whole case to be different.
it's true. So there's really nothing different at all about this
No.
camera except for the design. They're going to be making a 200 of them, so it's going to be a limited edition, which is why it's going to cost $350 more than buying the camera normally.
Yeah. For some, quite frankly, ugly laser sketching.
So, but Leica's also the same company that wanted to charge you $1,000 more to take the badge off of your camera.
Well, that's true.
So,
So maybe that's
I'm
their,
not really surprised, but it really, I feel like if I knew someone that bought this camera, I would have to light them on fire.
I agree.
Because I would just be like, you spent $1,150. First off, just go buy the Panasonic. And then if you really want to buy the Leica, then why are you spending $350 more for some metal things on the front?
And to be honest, if you want a cool metal thing, buy the Panasonic, design it yourself, and find a laser.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheaper, probably. Yeah.
So,
and probably better looking.
keep on trucking, Leica.
Yeah.
Moving on to some sort of Apple in relation to the mobile professional photography, videography. We've got an announcement from Magma, which is a company that makes peripherals, that they are going to be launching in the next coming weeks a Thunderbolt-based PCI Express expansion chassis.
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting. I was kind of waiting for this to come out because this really breaks open the Thunderbolt port to stuff that basically you buy this device and you don't need a pile of Thunderbolt accessories. You can buy stuff that already exists.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you 3 PCI Express slots, 2 clocked at 8x, 1 clocked at 4x. However, one is large enough to fit a 16x card.
Okay.
So what that means is you can throw a pro-end graphics card in there, but you're going to be limited to half bandwidth on that card. So you can get, let's say you have an Infinity card, you can get those 6 displays coming off your Thunderbolt port,
Yeah.
but you can't, you're going to be limited to half the bandwidth. Your graphic processing is going to be halved and things like that. But if you want to look at for higher end capture cards are all PCI Express.
Yep.
From pretty much everybody. Encoder cards are all PCI Express. You can get hard encoders that are encode between anything pretty much now. So if you're working off a laptop, this is potentially a way to really speed up your workflow.
Yeah, or if you're someone who really likes their iMac but you needed a capture solution, it's going to give you the option of plugging in something like a Blackmagic Intensity card or something like that.
Really, if you're working off an iMac and you want any kind of reasonably priced expandability,
Yeah.
if you want a really good sound card, you can go and do this.
Absolutely.
If you want an 8-in, 8-out sound card, if you're an audio professional.
And of course, this daisy chain, so you can still plug your monitor into it as well. So as of right now, it's going to be released anytime between October 1st and the end of the year, and they're promising a price point under $1,000.
I would hope so.
Which, I would expect it to probably be somewhere around $800 or something, which is high for an expansion card slot, but it is getting you a lot more mileage out of your computer without having to buy a whole new computer.
Yeah, the thing you got to realize is that they're not going to sell a pile of them, and the people who buy them, the price is going to be an issue.
Absolutely.
This is not for the home user to get a graphics card. You should not be using that kind of thing. Another thing to mention is it does have an internal power supply of its own, 220 watts.
Yeah.
So if you have cards that need extra power, it's good to go, and it'll power obviously through the slots, so you're not drawing off the thunderbolt.
So pretty cool stuff. And finally, a little bit more Apple news. We talked about Final Cut Pro 10 and the backlash that happened on account of it. I've been editing it with it for a couple months now, and I really enjoy it. I like it as a program. But it did not get wide reception.
Not really,
And Apple, at the time of announcing Final Cut Pro 10, pulled Final Cut Studio 3 from their shelves and said, hey, you can't buy it anymore.
Which I thought made sense, because they're moving on to 10.
They are, yes. But this week, Apple has decided that it's going to sell Final Cut Studio 3.
Yes, however, not permanently.
No.
This is kind of a sell-off what's left. I don't think they're mastering any more copies of this. They're
Probably
not putting
not.
out any more licenses, and even if they are, it's probably limited runs. Same price point, $9.99 for the studio.
$9.99 and then $8.99 educational. So, unfortunately, even though you might have been pissed at Apple for ruining Final Cut with Final Cut Pro 10, they're not going to give you a discount on buying the old stuff,
Nor should they, really.
I guess.
If you, software development company, you're not making the software anymore. If people want to buy it, they can pay full price.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. There's been some rumors that Logic is going to get an X upgrade, but the people who work on Logic are different than the people who work on Final Cut, and they have said there is no way that the Final Cut 10 debacle is going to happen to Logic. So we'll see what happens. And also, interestingly, Adobe has seen a 45% increase in Mac-based software sales for video editing since Final Cut 10 came out. So
Well, if you really want full pro experience and you're not interested in any shortcuts, I mean, we've used Premiere Pro, and it's
like Premiere
it's a good
Pro.
package.
I just like Final Cut Pro 10 better.
And it's going to be personal preference, but if you don't like taking the shortcuts because you're used to doing it the whole way and you want control over literally everything, Premiere Pro is a good way to go.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the end of Behind the Lens this week. And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or you can send us a tweet to tell us that one of your friends bought that stupid new Leica camera with the Gundam on it so we can let them on fire.
Yeah.
You can tweet us at @almost_Friday.
So until next time, keep your gas cans close by.